mining wild cassava in the back mountain, just to prepare winter rations for the livestock at home. For easy storage, they smoked and roasted their house on the fire into dried cassava. Early this morning, Nuanyuan put on the bamboo basket and walked towards the mountain. He has to prepare for the coming winter, prepare rations for the livestock at home. This mountain is not only lush with bamboo forests, there's cassava growing on the ground. Now is the world of mesh harvest. They're very adaptable. Even on a poor hillside, it's very productive. Just dig one out and it's fruitful. When it comes to maturity, the leaves on top have completely fallen off. It didn't take a while for it to be full. Before taking these cassava home, we have to cut off the extra rhizomes, leaving only the cassava itself. Otherwise, such a large amount. A back basket really cannot be shipped back. After all cleaned up, Nuanyuan put them in the quilt. Soon the eyes are full. Fortunately, he also brought a woven bag. Put all the rest in it. With a vine to enrich the pocket, put the woven bag horizontally on the quilt. Nuanyuan is struggling to carry today's harvest. Start walking home. The heavy cassava weighed on him and he could barely straighten up. All the way home. Put it on the ground. After a short break, he dumped all the tapioca on the ground. Because cassava peel contains toxic hydrides, therefore, the skin of cassava is removed before processing. Otherwise, we may die if we eat the pig. You can only carefully scrape off all the outer skin with a knife. Although the work is not tiring, it takes a lot of time. I finally got rid of these cassava. It's raining lightly now. The warmth can only be transferred under the granary. Before the cassava dries, you have to slice them. This will not only increase the evaporation of water inside the cassava area, also reduces subsequent drying events. I saw him with a knife in his hand, knife after knife. Very decompressed. Mold or after cutting all the cassava. Put them in plastic tubs. Pot after pot move to the outdoor kitchen, then pour it on the baking rack. In the wild, it doesn't matter if there is no toaster. A smart Nuanyuan can also come up with a good way. He took the big pot off the stove. Set up the baking rack. Just light the firewood in the stove. You can continue to smoke the top. It took off. After a while, stir the cassava inside. Make sure it's heated evenly inside, then seal the top with a plastic sheet. Fast drying progress. A few hours later, you get crispy dried tapioca. Nuanyuan put them all in woven bags. Store in a cool place for a while. Warm morning. Buy back a chunk of pork from the market. I'm going to make them into smoked bacon. To make bacon, you must choose pork belly with calcium skin. There is still residual pig hair on the meat skin. It needs to be cleaned with a knife before pickling. Washed pork. Cut into long strips of about 10 centimeters. The meat cannot be cut too finely, otherwise, it will be air-dried. After smoking, evaporation becomes trivial. It also loses the flavor of bacon. After the knife is cut, wash 2 pieces of ginger by the way, and you chop them up. After cutting, pour it into the meat pot, then add enough salt to it. Salt is the savory taste of homemade bacon, the key to long-term corrosion protection. It is also the sole seasoning of bacon. Pour the coarse salt into the meat cubes. Repeated rubbing. Rub each for at least 5 minutes. Convenient salty. Scent seeps in. Wipe evenly and move to the house. Let the meat fully absorb the taste of the seasoning. Nuanyuan brought her tools to the mountain. He's going to dig up some bamboo shoots and go home and make stuffed meat, specially picked. Those small bamboo shoots that have just sprouted and are still tender. After cleaning them up on the spot, put in a plastic bag. Half a bag was harvested soon. This is enough for him to eat. And I went home. Put them in a basin and soak them in water. He turned around and went back into the house. Light the firewood in the stove first. And clean these bamboo shoots. After washing, add enough water to the pot. Then put it on the stove for heating. Here, the bamboo shoots are cooked warm and come to the outdoor kitchen. Light the firewood in the stove. Thread the cured pork with plastic rope. Tie a knot at the top. After wearing it all, using a bamboo pole, hang them all over the stove, relying on the constant burning of firewood in the stove. The smoke produced, smoke. The moisture in the pork will gradually escape. Just wait quietly to harvest delicious food. Back inside, the bamboo shoots have also been cooked. Fat and thin pork belly. It's perfect for stuffed meat. It tastes fresh but not firewood. Put the minced meat aside. He also prepared vegetables to go with it. The addition of vegetables can greatly enhance the taste and flavor of the brewed meat. Cut them into filaments. After cutting it all, chop it up with a knife. Subsequently, he put the cut vegetables and minced meat together. Back inside, add some seasoning to it. Beat in 2 eggs. Stir well and stuff into the bamboo shoots. Until the whole bamboo shoot is filled. Put it in the pot when it's done. Add a little water. Put it on the stove and reheat it. Wait until the minced meat inside is cooked and you can eat it. Take advantage of this gap. Nuanyuan came to check the bacon. Pork at this time. It already looks a bit like smoked bacon. Go ahead and fill in some firewood. Make sure the smoke doesn't dissipate. Go back inside. The stuffed meat in the pot is almost cooked. That's not enough. He's in the pan again. Fry a few pieces of meat to satisfy your cravings. After it's all done, put them on a plate. Warm up under the gazebo and start eating. Refreshing bamboo shoots plus fragrant minced meat inside. It's delicious. It's raining heavily outside. Nuanyuan is enjoying the rain under the gazebo, while tasting delicious food. Live life to the fullest. After the rain, the bacon is almost smoked. Nuanyuan took off all the bacon and put it in the bottom of the pot, then carefully wrapped in newspaper. Isolation of outside air. Tie it with plastic rope and store it in the house. Western heaven comes. This hillside is covered with plantain trees. His branches are fluffy, juicy and nutritious. We couldn't be more suitable for feeding pigs. After cutting 2 Nuan Nuan picked them up and walked back. When I got home, I went straight to the pigsty. Clean the floor of the outdoor kitchen first. It is convenient to cut vegetables on the ground for a while. After cleaning, lay a woven bag on the ground. Then you can chop the plantain trunk on it. Cut into pieces. For piglets to swallow. After all, they don't chew slowly. Visible juice. It must be very good. See you later. Put them in the pan. It also adds solitary water to it. Serve with dried cassava baked a few days ago. Cook together. Wait until the food in the pot is cooked. Add some diluted cornmeal. A pot is rich in nutrients, carbohydrates and vegetables. The prepared pig food is completed. Cover it with a layer of plastic glutinous rice and seal it. Simmer for a while. When feeding the pigs, you can eat and take them at will. After the pig food is ready here, Nuan Nuan carries a hoe. Come to the pineapple field not far away. The pineapple seedlings on the ground are almost blooming. The rich weeds have been swallowed up. The critical period of results is approaching. The weeds must be shoveled one by one. Otherwise, the yield of pineapples will definitely be affected. A hoe can't shovel. Fong also needs to be unplugged by hand. Make sure to clean up all the weeds. I finally got rid of all the grass. Nuan hurried back home. By this time, the pig food in the pot has cooled through. Put the pig food in the bucket. Also pour salt water. After dilution, it can be fed to the piglets. Then the pig stones are fed to the piglets. The little guys can't wait to go up and grab the corpse. In the blink of an eye, it's October. It's getting colder. Even in the tropics. Plants can also sense the change of seasons. Warm. I plan to remove the gourd shelf in front of the yard. We've carved out a vegetable field here to grow winter vegetables. After months of wind and sun, the main board above has traces of age. After removing the last few grains, the ground is finally flat again. The ground is full of weeds. It needs to be cleaned with a hoe. Otherwise, no matter how good the fertilizer in the world is, it will not help. Cleaning it up is definitely manual labor. This blockbuster, it took an hour and a half to clean up. Just finished. Nuan picked up the firewood knife and came to the hillside. The vegetable field has to be surrounded by a group of deaths. He had to chop up some logs to do his nails. Try to choose those small trees with moderate thickness. It can be used without too much trimming. Cut them into small pieces on the spot, tied up and carried home. And then, warmly, they brought in the logs that had just been chopped. Stick them in the ground. Sharpened logs plunged into the soil, effortlessly. It goes around in a circle. Except for the front against the wall. After all plugged in, put the protective net around it. It can effectively prevent the invasion of small animals, such as rabbits and mice. These small animals often destroy vegetable animals, affect the normal growth of vegetable fields. After surrounding, fix the top and bottom with plastic rope. Make sure the protection doesn't fall off. After it's all fixed, it's still flowing out of a small door and back and forth. Before growing vegetables, I have to turn this land loose. Improve soil permeability. Let the soil become loose. Air can better enter it. Not only is it conducive to the growth of vegetable roots, production will also increase. Then separate a few vegetable farmers on top. One is for different vegetables to be grown separately. The second is to facilitate drainage and irrigation. After the vegetable cage is divided, the ground is both regular and neatly arranged. Plant vegetable seedlings into the ground. There is a certain gap between the vegetable seedlings. Leave them plenty of room to grow. These seedlings are full of 3 vegetable cages. Leave a cage on the edge. Sprinkle some other vegetable seeds. After the hybrids are done, warm water bottle. Water the seedlings one by one. Let them take root quickly. The cage for sprinkling seeds needs to be watered more. After all, vegetables take root and sprout. They need more water. I finally took a few days off. Nuan is ready to start at home today. New engineering construction. There is an open space next to the outdoor kitchen. He's going to build a color steel shed here. Before that, the ground needs to be tidied up. Pull up a fitness bar first. Confirm the construction scope. You run the spade along the string. Fix the edges neatly. It is convenient to connect the microwall for a while. After finishing sorting, clean up the soil that has been shoveled off. Build a color steel shed. We need a few more for load-bearing pellets. To be more stable. This time, Nuan doesn't plan to live with logs. It was poured with concrete and steel. Put the steel bar in the middle of the cement. After sealing, smooth the surface. Finally covered with a layer of plastic film. Let it stand for 2 days. Wait until the cement is completely dry before using it. After this is done, Nuan brought in the cement bricks needed to build the wall. Then came sand and cement. Lay a layer of concrete on the ground. Put more bricks. 1 layer of cement, 1 layer of bricks. The fence doesn't need to be built too high. You only need to build 3 layers. Build a whole wall this way. And a triangular block at the edge. Due to its location on a gentle slope, plus the ground is not flat, it is impossible to build a color steel shed directly on it. You have to level the broken noodles first. Restore the surface to a flat surface. The next morning, Nuan began to dig a buried chicken pit in the ground. With the powerful assistance of the pit digging artifact, it's not that hard to do. However, the chicken pit must be dug big enough to accommodate the cement pillars. Nuan also welcomed his sister. My sister specially called to help Nuan build a color steel cannon. Sister 2000. It is reasonable to remove the old roof on the side. Remove the worn asbestos tiles from it. Then knock down the pillars on the ground and remove them all. The 2 sisters went to move the cement pillar with the rubber shaft. The real thing is too heavy. It's got to be 2 people working together. After the pillars are placed, sell the pillars carefully. The soil on Kang's surface is secure. After the strength is in place, secure a long log to it. Fix one on both sides. You can put up a copper-topped frame, but if you want to lay color steel tiles on it, the framework has to be encrypted. You need to fix some square tubes on it. They brought all the square tubes over. Move it over together with the color steel tile for backup. After the materials are ready, my sister is down there delivering the materials. Lay warm on it. Spread the square tube spacing on the frame. Leave a certain gap in the middle. After confirming the position, fix it with steel nails. After fixing, you can lay the color steel tile on the finished frame. Stacking and laying between color steel tiles. Leave no gap in the middle. Then fix it with an automatic screw kitchen garment. Secure them to the frame. Nuan Nuan decided to cook a big meal. To reward my sister who has come from afar, so I went to the chicken coop and caught a little rooster. To show his utmost sincerity, clean it by the water pipe and put it in the pot. Add enough water to the pot. Put it on the stove and cook. It will take some time for the chicken to mature. Nuan Nuan decided to take a shower first. Change into clean clothes after taking a shower. Enjoy your dinner. After both sisters are packed. The chicken in the pot is also cooked. Put the chicken on the small table and simply split it. The two of them are quite ceremonial, and put a rug on the floor. Put all the food on it. Two people sitting on the floor, start enjoying dinner. He gulped down meat and drank beer. Just not too cool. The four of them left the farm early in the morning. There is only solitary warmth left. Today, he can only continue the rest of the work alone. The reason why this color steel shed was built, just to have a warehouse, can be used to store sundries. The ground has to be hardened before use. Nuanyuan shipped sand and cement one after another, mix them well. As he prepares to harden the warehouse floor. Pave a cement road by the way. It extends directly to the courtyard outside, so when it rains, it won't be dense if you walk on it. Before that, you have to make a straight line out of bricks, while confirming the laying range. It also makes the edges of subsequent hardening neater. Of course, you have to talk straight. It is also necessary to pull a wire rope as an auxiliary. Nuanyuan is laid all the way along the planned route, soon to the end of the road. The same is true for hardened warehouse floors. You have to put a circle of bricks around the edges. During this time on the farm, the infrastructure at home has never pretended to others. The warm craftsmanship has been perfected. Pour the cement and sand together. Stir evenly with a spade. Let them mix well. Wait until it's well mixed. Spread out the middle. Put enough water in it. Mix them into concrete on the spot. The concrete can then be spread out with a hoe, laying it flat on the floor of the warehouse. Spread a layer evenly on the ground, until every corner. The corner leading to the courtyard is also covered. After all paved, it's the same board that we used all the time. Nuanyuan uses the wooden board to simply scrape the ground flat first, level the high and low places. After that, it is refined with an ink mud knife. Where the ink mud knife is dialed, the ground becomes flat and smooth. After the floor of the warehouse is ground, the path will be dealt with. It's not over until it's all smoothed out. The construction of the warehouse is coming to an end. Have you ever seen wine made this way? The raw material turned out to be East Elm. Just chop them up and put them in items to steam. And mash the wine set in the big pail. Sprinkle into the ingredients. You can make delicious wine. Warm in the morning, walking up the mountain with a machete. The purpose of this climb is to find the raw materials for making wine. Superfluous trees, finally trees with hard shells. To cut down a tree, the shell must first be wrapped to expose the tree shape inside. Brain full of sharp machetes. Soon the tree pole was wrapped up. Only the heart of the brown fish is left. After removing the bottom branch, you can put it home. And of course, this one's not going to cut it. Nuanyuan will continue to collect brown fish tree hearts. After all, making wine is a big project. The preliminary materials must be prepared. One person climbs high and low. It's hard to gather enough lists. You have to use your thin body. One trip to carry the hair home. I saw him copying the machete in his hand. The heart of the brown and jade tree is a wild chop, until you chop them all up one by one. And he fetches a log. Put him on the grapes in the outdoor kitchen. This is a necessary exercise for winemaking. He put some sticks in there to support particles. After the particles are put away, you can put the chopped tree heart in. You can't put too much at one time, otherwise it is not easy to steam. Steaming is the first step in winemaking. When adding enough to the pot, you can start steaming. And he put a big plate on it. Prevent water stains from evaporating. Wait until this pot is about the same. He laid a piece in the clearing to the side. Clean feed. Remove the steamed material from the wooden stool. Pour directly into the plastic part. Prepare for the next stage. Wait until the last pot is also steamed. He started dealing with curls. Put these big ball-shaped curls at 19 o'clock. Mash into powder. Then you can put the powder. Sprinkle the wine evenly. Just press. At this time, the heart of the tree can no longer be put down. Mix the wild area and the center of the tree well. Let him turn the electric wind inside into a safety hazard. This is also the basis of flora fermentation. The strains in the wine region produces a variety of fermentation metabolites. These substances will give the palm jade wine its unique wind, taste and aroma. After stirring well, you can install them before sealing. Woven bags must choose the inside of the bag. Make sure they're in a completely airtight way. Bees ferment for a few days. It will become qualified lees. Take it out and distill it. You can get mellow and delicious wine. The arrival of a new day. Nuanyuan needs to feed the pigs first. Dried cassava diluted with water. Put it in the machine and smash it. Nutrient-rich cassava with corncloth. Vegetable mixture. After stirring the two well, you can feed the piglets. Some time has passed. The little pigs have grown up a lot. My stomach is almost hanging to the ground. After feeding the pigs, Nuanyuan came to the duck again. Sherry Jolly also fed the ducks. Surprisingly, there were many scattered ducks on the ground. It seems that the ducks have started to lay eggs. Nuanyuan liberates the duck eggs at the tunnel door. There is also a loneliness brewing in my heart, and that was a strip for the ducks. I saw him with a machete. Clean up the grass on the gentle slope. Make a clearing. And then we're going to dig into the ground with a pit digging artifact. A moment later, and there was a delivery room. The shape of the orchard is convenient for ducks to lie down. The depth can also hold a whole duck. So many ducks. One delivery room is clearly not enough. Nuanyuan needs to dig a few more. Try not to line up when they're laying eggs. Considering the wetter climate here. And he decided to put a shed on top of it. Some bamboo poles and moon cakes for random construction. First you need to dig a few chicken pits in the ground. Used to fix seeds. Because it is a simple shed bottom, so the chicken pit doesn't have to be dug too deep. After all the digging is done, we will deal with the soil like bamboo
Arrange
poles.
the
Bamboo poles into 2 small circles with a machete. Then make a groove on it. Prepare for the follow-up construction of the roof. After all is dealt with, you can put the bamboo pole into the machine pit. Arrange it carefully. Forcefully weld the floor. Then you can put the thin bamboo pole on it. It can be stably supported by the opened groove. After the mine is done, move the old real name tiles. And you lay them on top of the frame. Stack laying between tiles. Leave no gap in the middle. Until the entire frame is covered. A brocade basin is ready. What's wrong with this delivery room at the moment? Nuanyuan hurriedly walked slowly in the direction of the street, all the way to the rice fields. There are still many chickens left in the harvested fields. Soft streets paved with ducks in the delivery room. But the big warmth is full of bamboo hair. I feel enough to go back. When I got home, I went straight to the duck pen. Paved the soft streets on the factory building. There's one last item after it's laid. That is to put the big one placed before into it. Do it for the ducks. After doing this, he went to the vegetable field in front of the yard. Planted vegetables a month ago. Nuanyuan soaked a large bucket. So that he can water the vegetables every day. In the afternoon, Nuanyuan will go to the pressure house again. It was found that there were a lot of extra duck eggs in the delivery room. There are also a few ducks laying eggs in it. See so many duck eggs. Nuanyuan wants to die happy. On the slope behind the cabin, the sugarcane is fully mature. Nuanyuan cut one for herself and taste it. Enjoy delicious food while walking the mountain road. This time up the mountain, it is to choose some bamboo pole backseat frames, placed on both sides of the chicken coop. Therefore, the bamboo pole cannot be selected. 3 on the plate are enough. You can bundle them up. Carry it home with a strong body. Several hens in the house should be attached. They don't have a proper chicken coop. Hens may be laid off in more secluded areas, so to make sure the hens don't lay eggs everywhere, they need a chicken coop. So that they can hatch chicken legs smoothly. Nuanyuan put the bamboo pole directly on the chicken shed. It's tied with wire. The bamboo pole is not the right length, just in front of his ear. Until it's just right. Lay 4 pieces to reach the desired width. Only later can the chicken nest be placed on it. Then, he took the wooden door that was left over from the wooden house he had built before. Come to the matching place under the granary. Use a tape measure first, the size you need for a good chicken coop, and we cut it with a handsaw. Saw them into rectangles of the same size, until all the planks are dealt with. Then start the next assembly work. Use steel nails to handle. The planks are spliced together. The pairs are connected to each other. Only 5 planks. You can make a rectangular shape of wood. This wooden nest looks rather wooden. I made a total of 4 this time. After the wooden nests are done, you can put them in the hanger. Put the wooden nest on the just made bracket. Leave a little gap in the middle. Just right for the silk. To ensure that the chicken coop does not fall, you have to use wire and add a little mud. Get some more hay. Put them in the chicken coop. Put some grass beef eggs to make them softer. It also has the effect of keeping warm and moisture-proof. Temperature that increases the temperature. Prevent muscle damage. This accelerates the process of incubating nitrogen. Finish these. Nuanyuan walks to the banana tree at home. Bunches of bananas are ready to be picked. He took the machete. Hacked down the coveted banana. Move to the side of the ground. Divide the banana into a string of mud. However, these experiences cannot yet make. It needs to be ripened before eating it. Put all the bananas in the house next to the stove. Concave cage with straw honey on the bottom and above. Straw heats up under the conditions of bees. Will release a finer gas. It will slowly turn the banana yellow. Generally 7 to 10 points are useful. Banana basic table yellow.